And welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host and NWL and IWL Commissioner Alex G. And with me, as always, IWAR Commissioner Matt Riley. How you doing tonight, Matt?
I'm sore. Actually, I'm not that sore, surprisingly.
You need to get some Bengay.
I took the naproxen, so...
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, so I got back in the ring for the first time in about 13 years today.
Getting that ring rust off.
Oh, yeah. You know what the funny part was? I really thought I'd be like, oh, I'm going to really F this up. Nope. Yay.
It's muscle memory.
Yep.
So on tonight's episode, we're going to have the January cycle and review. And we're going to start off, as always, with the BRL.
Yes. Who was the champion there?
I don't know, some loser. League champion, Luther Alexander.
501.
No, I'm excited. TV champion, Dark Phoenix, FS. Atlantic, Jim Whiskey. Central, Hot Stuff, Adam Cash.
501.
Dixie, Sinister, Steve Stryker. Eastern, El Dragon de Oro. Mountain, Queen Isabella. Northern, Classy, Eddie DeGrassi. Pacific, Urban Model, Aisha Diaz. Prairie, Sax Gotha. Southern, General Bob Rockbone. Western, Eric Endgame. Tag Team, Executioner and Classy Eddie DeGrassi. TV Tag Team, Sharpshooter, Jake Scarlett, and the Russian Rocket, Alexei Smirnov. Six-man, Jake Scarlett, El Dragon de Oro, and Alexei Smirnov. TV six-man, Sam Whiskey, Bruiser, Brett Brown, and Jury. So, Matt, what's going down at the BRL?
Well, as I mentioned, Luther Alexander did have a 501, so that was kind of cool. I was like, nice.
Yeah.
When I got the match results and like they send the strategy totals, I was like, oh shit, 501s with Alexander, Jim Whiskey, and Adam Cash.
Yeah.
So I know Adam Cash is PPF, so that hopefully will mean something important or worthwhile. That'd be nice. But, you got the sweet $42 of credit for Luther there.
I sure did. Couldn't come at a better time, to be honest.
There you go. It's good time. So, action-wise, good to see Money-Driven Mike Sebastian back in the trash talking. He spent some time calling people out. Good to see that. The Suburban Hell Savages thank the fans for winning the most popular award. We'll talk about the awards later. But I did enjoy the fact that they threw in a Spaceballs reference.
Nice.
And evil will never triumph over good because evil is dumb. It's a reversal, but it's still enjoyable. The Latin got talkative. Went after Hannibal. We'll see if Hannibal responds. Poor Rick Riley was all excited about his 3-2 lead on Bobby Bedlam. And then Bobby Bedlam won, so now it's 3-3. Damn it! So their best of 7 is going to a final deciding match. Sir Gunter calls out a lot of people because he feels like, hey, I'm still world champion, and he has been forever now. Stryker talks about adding to his noticeable win totals, rest of the year, Gold Fed, Metro. We had an anonymous, ladies and gentlemen, the most anticipated return is near. Next cycle, he's back. I don't know what that means.
It's Jumping Jim Elway.
Oh, okay. Goes through Shadows. In an odd move, because last cycle, Frank Snow came out and the Leatherman said, the feud with the DOD is over, we've won, and then Shadows came out and basically said, I'm taking aim at the Leatherman again. So I don't know if that's going to be second chapter. Randy the Ram, who just retired, had trash talk, so I don't know if that was just sort of a parting gift. Sasquatch goes after, oh my god, who was it? He went after the Middle Knight, who, has kind of come in and been very heroic in his trash talk. The Fabulous Three Birds calling people out, so we'll see how that goes for them. And, I think the IWAR overall with the awards for the BRL stuff was a fun read for me. I know I put it together. But I'm putting something special together for the 500th issue, which is now just 8 cycles away.
Don't forget that Luther Alexander did call out El Barbaro.
Right.
He doesn't like luchadors, so perfect fit for that. And made sure to let everyone know that he also ran the end games out of the NWL and IWL, and the BRL won't be any different. So
there you go.
Not going to be able to run for long, gentlemen.
Yes.
But yeah, I think the BRL was real good. Very excited. So next up, we have the CWL Unified Touchy Feely Fingers Fairlane Streaming Media Goliath O'Brien United States like a Batar Odor. Like I said, Derek did give me a pronunciation, but I can't find it. So Yukon Norman Spivey Caribbean Killer Clown Amazon Basin Solace British Isles Great White Dragon Arabian, Barry, USA, Stevens. South African, Victor von Schnapp. Siberian, Nameless Minion of Solace number 4. East Asian Dragon Master, Oceanic. Battling, Brian, Kelly. Big Blank number 2 and Big Blank number 1. Streaming Media, Milton's Snodgebuster and Pokey McSnail. Unified 6-man, Forgotten Vagrant, Wildcard Gower Shadowstar, and the Tyrant, David Hammerhead. Oddly enough, Streaming Media 6-man, Power Jack, the Cool One, and Dagger Bomb.
Yeah,
I thought those guys were inactive.
No. They're actually not only are they not inactive, they're just terrible. So we try to reach out to them and like, hey, you want some help with your strats? So apparently they listened.
Good for them.
If that helps.
Yeah, they should listen to the Tubecast.
That's right.
So, Matt, what's going down in the Continental Wrestling League?
Well, lots of mayhem. Goliath O'Brien defeated Harry Hoodstar to capture the Continental Championship. The Blanks came out and grabbed the Unified Tag Championships. The Von Schnapps defeated the One Percenters to win the Tandem Championship for the 4th time. So lots of action going on that way. I believe Forgotten Vagrant still has the Capital Championship.
It's interesting to note that the Blanks not only won the Unified Tag Team, but the NWL Tag Team Championship too, which is impossible.
Yes.
At least it's supposed to be. So I'm not sure if they're the first team to ever do that.
They are, I know.
I'm going to say, yeah, they're the first team ever to do that. So congratulations, gentlemen. Good job. Fantastic. So next up is the IWL League. Alec Von Schnapp.
Woo!
Television, Scotty Flash. New York City, Xavier Jimenez. Los Angeles, Che Guerrero. Boston, Captain Bud, Drunk and Wasted. Detroit, Shotgun James Carnage. Cleveland, Nasty, Norman Krasner. Dallas, West Washington Esquire. Memphis, Crimson Grim. Miami, Aiden the Great. San Francisco, Clyde Cosworth. Chicago, Piper the Goofball Monroe. Tag Team, Van Death Valen and the Shadow, Tony Lowen. TV Tag Team, Piper and Ulysses Monroe. 6-man, James Carnage, Blackjack Robertson, and Texas Jesse Tombstone. And TV 6-man, Dr. Victory, Van Death Valen, and the Shadow, Tony Lowen. So, Matt, what's going down in the IWL?
Oh, anarchy is afoot. Well, there's a lot going on, actually. Like I said, Alec Von Schnapp was kind of a surprise. Scotty Flash, good to see him back on the title page. We've got Soul Survivor.
Yeah.
So, do you want to discuss that? Because you kind of know.
Yeah. So, I'm not going to be spoiling this for anyone because this will come out probably once everyone gets their bulletin. But the winner of Soul Survivor is Luther Alexander.
Yes.
Amazing.
Controversy.
I know when Matt told me the results, the point total, I'm like, oh, I won.
Do you want to break down how you put it all together?
Well, basically, it was like this. It's much like a Battle Royal. So we took 5 holds at random, and we added them together, and that's how we chose a winner. This particular match went to a 3-way tie between Che Guerrero, Luther Alexander, and Pastor Payne. So I had a anonymous third party come up with a tiebreaker, a hold number, which they gave us, and Luther ended up being the winner. So I didn't even pick out the original 5 holds. I had a third party do it because I'm in the contest. So I had someone who wasn't in the contest pick the hold numbers for us. So my hands are clean, so to speak.
Well, so that makes, how much did you win out of that?
$40.
So it means $82 in one cycle.
Yeah.
Nice job.
I also won a championship belt, which I
Yeah, I saw that picture. Wow.
which I got already. So
Dick.
Yeah, I know. But we should, before we move on, we should talk about being a commissioner and having these contests and some of the best ways that you can avoid any kind of controversy. Because historically, people who are commissioners are usually pretty good players, and they're always going to be in the running for some of these contests that they run themselves. So, Matt, what are some of the best ways to make sure that there's not any controversy or someone's not thinking that a commissioner, messed with the contest to make sure that they won?
Well, I think the easiest way to do it is just to be transparent. Like if you set up, you set up a turn in a certain way, keep to it. I know, like I always talk about the first Johnny B Cup, we had a person who was they only play the game by mail, so they're not on email, they're not whatever. So after we ran the first round, they were like, oh hey, this guy sent his money in to be in the tournament. So he was an old foe of Senor Lucha. So I had Senor Lucha fight 2 people in the second round, so we had to beat them both to advance. And he did. And people still lost their shit over it. Like, oh my god! And, Senor Lucha ended up winning it. But it's a thing that some people are going to be unhappy no matter what you do because they feel like, this particular, term, Bound for Glory right now, we have it set up. So Bound for Glory, if you're not aware, what we do is you take kind of like a World Cup system where you have pools, right? So the pools of wrestlers or tag teams. So in the Tag Team Derby, Bound for Glory, it's the same idea. You have 3 matches over 3 cycles, and each match is worth 3 points. So the thing is, you build a system that's easy to read. So point structure, whoever has the most points in their pool advances, and you get 16 wrestlers. And then we did a thing where we had so many wrestlers extra got in, right? Well, then it's 16 bracket single elimination. So as it turns out, spoiler alert of sorts, if you don't know the results yet, the semifinals, Agent 26 from the BRL beat Crazy Carl to advance to the finals. And in the other semifinal, Hot Stuff Adam Cash defeated Grand Sabrosa, both of the BRL. So in your finals of the Bound for Glory tournament, it is Agent 26 against Hot Stuff Adam Cash, who are, by the way, enemies. So it kind of works out that way. So it's in some ways it's hard to say oh well, it's unfair to have contests if you're involved with them. But it's I'm a player too, and I have no idea what the holds are.
Right.
What we do too is now is with, for example, with the Johnny B Cup, now instead of having a winner take all, because the year I won it, I had all 4 finalists. I had a good couple of cycles. Yay me. So now what we do, instead of a winner take all approach, the 4 finalists each get a prize. And this past cycle, or past Johnny B Cup, Andy ran 2 of the 5 guys that were left. So it went to a 5th player out of the loop, so to speak. But it made it easy, So I would say as a commissioner, just set out the rules, have the tournament play out as is. If you have guys who don't, for instance, if you set up rules that if you're inactive, you're out, then stick to it. But what happened too sometimes is if something happens, this is a good example. Occasionally the IWA will botch a match. So look at the Triple D Cup 6-man tournament, this past one we ran. For whatever reason, they put one of the Von Schnapps out of it and put somebody else in, so the other team won. So to fix it, we'd have to do a rematch. And now 2 rematches later, the Von Schnapps, spoiler alert, won the IWAR 6-man titles. But it's okay, it took 3 matches to do it, but it was all in the up and up, because if it was anybody else who did the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. Which is another thing, too. I would say you don't want to penalize yourself because, oh, well, that was me. Because, in be fairness, you would do it for any other player, so do the same for yourself.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it's always a tricky situation when you're involved in the contest that you're running. I mean, that's why I had someone else pick the holds and had someone else pick the tiebreakers, and right. I was actually surprised that I actually won it. It did cross my mind, I should just give it to Pastor Payne, but I'm screw that, I won this shit.
Right, and that's it too. It's when there's, imagine, I know it's IWA credit, but it's still you earned it. Right. You had the best strategy, or points total, so don't punish yourself either. Plus, you made the belt already.
I did not make they got the belt to me really quick. I was surprised how quick they got me that belt.
Yeah, they get it to you really quick there. They're good about that.
I was like, the UPS man came, what is this? And I opened up, oh, it's my belt. So I will provide everyone with a picture of that. So it's pretty cool. And, I do have a shot at the IWA World. I didn't have a perfect point flow, but we'll see how it went down. But right. I might take a gold or a Metro or whatever. So you might see me on the front cover.
Definitely in the running. And I would also say that Luther Alexander, hot streak right now, because of BRL success, league title, in the running for Metro, Gold Fed, and IWA title. Yeah. You also have, Luther Alexander winning the Sole Survivor 4, so he earns a shot at Great David, right?
Yep.
There it is.
So that's your main event, folks. For Wrestle Riot, will be Luther Alexander versus Great David. And if you guys remember their feud, they've been feuding for quite a long time, probably since the inception of Revolution Extreme. And some experts out there claim that Great David is responsible for the formation of Revolution Extreme because of his actions during that match, that War Games match.
Right.
So it goes back a long way, and they feuded back and forth. Luther took the national championship from him in the NWL. So there's a lot of history there, and it should be a great matchup. Hopefully, I don't get blown out because it is Andy. I'm like, oh shit. But we'll see how it goes. So with Luther in the running for the global and the BRL, and he can be the first wrestler to have two commissioner titles.
That's correct. He actually, we just had the last round wrap up, and Punk Rock Mike beat Grant Sabrosa. Mr. 187, Tony Dime defeated Canadian Hammer Gunner Molson, and Superstar Rick Riley defeated Canadian Hammer Gunner Molson for the Canadian title, and the EMC tag team military guys, Clayton, Vander, Dirk, Kirk, whatever, they retained. So it's now going to have Luther, who finished with the highest average strat after 3 cycles, which is pretty good because it's a tough league. So he ended up with the highest strat average. So he's no more contender. So he'll face Punk Rock Mike next, which, convenient, also arch enemies.
Yeah.
The tag champs face Jake Scarlett and Alexei Smirnov. Dime faces. I gotta look it up. Hold on. Dime faces Shocker Jimmy Electric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere. He just edged Fatty the Butcher by 0.3%. It would have been either him or it was either Shocker Jimmy Electric or Superstar Bobby Bedlam, but because Bedlam's also run by the same manager, we'd like to separate that. And then Rick Riley will defend against Chief Bold Gray Fox, which it was actually a 4-way tie with El Barrow, Ghostly Shadows, Saskatchewan Sasquatch, and Chief Bold Gray Fox.
I wonder why.
Yeah. But that's 2 managers there. Rob runs Fox, the guys. Jason runs the other ones. But the last cycle, the highest one was by Fox. And just a reminder, you might notice on the back page of the IWAR, we talked about diversifying your strategies. I see a lot of players, we see a lot of players that use the exact same hold set for all their wrestlers. And while that's great if you have a good hold set, if you don't, you have a shitty cycle with no titles. So if you diversify it, maybe not all your guys take a title, but one of your guys does really well. So I run. Let me think. I think I run 5, 9, 12 wrestlers total in gold, and we cooperate in our strats. So to have a 501 and a 499 come out for that group, that's pretty damn good. I'm happy about that. So yeah. So excitement coming to the IWA. It's going to be a good year, I think.
I think so too. So in terms of IWL Trash Talk, we do have an interview with Andrew Jefferson Koff, which is real interesting. So I'm curious to see where that goes moving forward. In addition, we had Crimson Grim, Senior Lucha, and Tim Riggins III challenge Revolution Extreme to a 6-man cage match, which I will officially accept right now. So there you go. I like Magnum TL. I don't know why.
I do too.
I just do. In addition, we have some trash talk from Senior Lucha. What's Lucha up to?
He's fully committed to the IWL now, and he is sort of setting the foundation that he's the ultimate good guy. He's always there to right the wrongs, and he of course gave his promo for the middle of the Women's March. He's a man of the people.
But he had a pink hat on.
He did. He had a pink mask on, actually.
Nice.
So one thing he did do, though, is he kind of called Ryan Patrick, the leader of the Empire of Chaos, and
I hate that guy.
Called him to task for kind of straying from the straight and narrow, so to speak.
And I heard a rumor that someone may be debuting soon in IWL from Lucha's past. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on with that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Also got some good stuff from Von Schnapp. He's doing his thing. And then we have your boy, Cowboy Jim Spur.
Yes, Jim Spur, who I was really surprised he won Moment of the Year, but I was happily surprised that he did. Because the Moment of the Year was him pile driving a woman through a table.
Yes.
But who didn't enjoy that? This time, Jim Spur took out his anger on a fan and a child. So, just typical stuff. Jim Spur. Jim Spur did get the record upgrade. If you're not aware, I had a record in the ASL that was attached to the Mass Marvel. And I was like, you know what? I'm leaving the ASL, and I'm bringing that record to Jim Spur.
Yes.
Which is a nice way to, give a character a boost.
In addition, we have some good trash talk from the Empire of Chaos. They're talking trash about Revolution Extreme. Don't forget that the regulators are currently at 487 days as IWL Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. And now they are currently the IWAR Tag Team Champions as well. So they're definitely the elite tag team right now in the IWAR. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, hey, when you defend your belts 3 times a year, it's pretty easy.
That's not going to happen anymore.
Oh.
That's not happening.
Oh.
I will, and I'll say this right now as IWL commissioner, I'm going to throw a lot of curveballs at people, much like the Elimination Chamber. So Andy has defended that championship against 4 other guys. We'll see how good he really is. But we'll see more stuff like that moving forward. Again, the criticism that I received when I took over the IWL, there was a general feeling that there was too much time between our big events.
Mm-hmm.
And, we used to run these big tournaments. So if someone got bounced out in the first round, they were kind of not doing much in between. They weren't in contention for anything.
Right.
So that kind of not rub people the wrong way, but people say, hey, if you're going to change anything, leave the rest. Everything else is awesome. Just change that. So that's why you'll see more kind of events like the 4-pack challenge that we have. Lethal Lottery will run pretty soon. We have the Young Lions Cup. We have the Elite 8 tournament coming up, and there's IWL is really based on tournaments. So I'm just going to condense them and make them smaller and have them happen more frequently. Let's see if we get a positive reaction from that. In addition, we have Dr. Victory, who's calling out all the jobbers in the IWL, the Masked Bandits number 1 and 2 and 3, and the Badass American Biker, your favorites wrestler of all time. So he's calling out these J-Brones, as they call them in the streets. We also have who was probably my new favorite duo in the IWL. We have JJ Dallas and TJ Relic. You get JJ Dallas and TJ Relic, who's my new favorite duo in the IWL. Really good TT. I love it. I foresee big things for these guys. So I entered them in the 4-pack challenge. So there you go. Also, we have the debut of Revolution Extreme's newest member, Johnny Vegas, coming in from the NWO. He recently just graduated. So he did a lot of great things when he was NWL, had a lot of championships. I believe he's still currently the Rising Star champion at the NWL, so I got to deal with that soon. But it's good to have Johnny Vegas here. He's going to do some excellent things, and business is picked up. Also, we had a video of poor Neo Dragon. Got in a car accident on his way to the IWL, and he's currently out with an injury. It looks like Luther Alexander paid someone $50,000. Not saying that it was Noble House, but it looks like it was Noble House to take out Neo Dragon once and for all. Again, don't forget that Luther Alexander put Neo Dragon on the shelf originally in the NWL, so he's been a thorn in Luther's side for quite a while. We have another great promo from Koenig and the Great David. Basically, just talking about Luther Alexander and how he hasn't accomplished anything and how much he's a loser, which is true for a while, not anymore. They also put over Creed Michaels as the fighting champion, and he went out on top. So, way to be baby faces, guys. I'd also like to welcome the Monroe family to the IWL. We have Ulysses and Piper Monroe, who just recently graduated from the NWL. I think they're definitely going to make a mark. They had a big feud with the Blanks, And they stood toe to toe with the Blanks. So the Blanks is the most dominant tag team in the history of the NWL. But the Monroes were able to stay with them, and they just won the TV Tag Team Championship basically their first cycle in. So really excited about that. And then we have was it Kennedy? We have Cage and Underwood, a new tag team that's also debuted here in the IWL. They are new, so they are literally rookies stepping right into the IWL. And I know they won the tag team championships last cycle, so great job for them. See what they're gonna do going forward. I can see both the Monroes and I guess they call them the Chaotix feud with the Regulators because they need some new competition anyway. And then last but certainly not least, we have Ali Atari at the end.
Yes.
Who claims that he didn't submit in the War Games? He said to Crete.
Yes. He did not say I quit. He said to crit. I was going to crit. So easy mistake.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, and
why does he have a British accent again?
Because he was educated in England.
That's a lie. He's definitely a refugee.
Well,
do you want to give a little backstory on Atari and Cash?
Oh yeah. Actually, when I was in the LWL, I did a little piece about it. Atari and Cash are both the sons of Bodacious Brad Blaze, who was one of my early wrestlers. And the idea is that Adam had two children, and one kind of was the son of a wealthy Arabian family. So that was one, and the other was Adam. And they kind of went separate paths. The idea was that when Atari and Adam both decided to go into wrestling, that Atari kind of focused on singles wrestling, which you may notice most of his titles are singles titles, and Adam went into tag team wrestling, and him and Fatty became friends. And actually, Atari paid Fatty to help cover Adam's back, because Adam didn't have the money that his brother did originally, so it's a little bit different. But Adam Cash, when he first came to IWA, was the 10-year-old manager for Bad Company. They decided to have a 10-year-old because they wanted to show their role models. So they picked Adam Cash out of the crowd. He was actually Bad Brad's kid, and he was their quote-unquote manager. So they'd be cutting promos with like scantily clad women and having this 10-year-old kid there. So Adam kind of grew up in the business, whereas Atari went to college and educated himself.
Yes.
And
both good friends with Luther Alexander, by the way.
Yes, and Luther met Lady Xanadu on his travels, his buxom valet, as we say. And Adam's kind of just been taking after his dad, just went, womanizing and having fun.
Bless his heart.
And the story of both of them is pretty cool. Like, Atari was my wrestler in the LWL when it first started, and it was funny. It was almost Jim Spur, and then it was down to three wrestlers I decided between. It was either Spur, Atari, or Senor Lucha. And I was going to do Senor Lucha because I wanted to have a face, because most leagues need good guys.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works. And one of the guys told me he was bringing in a masked hero. So I thought, well, I don't want to have two masked wrestlers there being the same kind of style of, classic good guy, whatever. So I brought in Atari. And the plan was to eventually have Atari have a huge feud with Wrestling Gold, but then Brendan left the game. So that kind of never happened. But it was a good run. And Atari and Cash have both been in the LWL.
So next up, we have the NWL. League champion Winston Smith Jr., TV Black Belt Jones, Atlantic Dr. Eras, Central Fortune 500 Aaron McFleece, Dixie Adam Maddox, Eastern Ricky Kyle, Mountain Drunken Camper, Northern Strict Lee Bidness, Pacific B.A. Fox, Prairie Joe Boring, Southern Jerome the Bone Smitty, Western Master of Disaster, Tag Team Big Blank number 1, Big Blank number 2, TV Tag Team Alpha Male XD and the Patriots, 6-Man Aaron McFleece, Strictly Business and Hostile Takeover, TV 6-Man Billy Jack Novak, Master of Disaster and the Bombshell Warrior. That's a hell of a team.
Yeah, Billy Jack Novak essentially retiring or leaving the NWL soon.
Yeah.
And Bombshell Warrior. I didn't realize he was still active. He's one of those off and on guys.
No, that's a new Bombshell Warrior.
Oh, it's a new Bombshell Warrior.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So, yeah, I was weirded out by that too. It's one of those, like, it's a common name. Like, I've seen Iron Warriors and Destroyers and Terminators and Bulls and, it's one of those deals. And I don't want anyone to panic about the level of TT currently and the NWO. I don't want anyone to panic. I want everyone to step up. Now, this is your opportunity to shine. So, guys, if you're listening to this, expand your trash talk. Make it larger. Add more pictures. Again, we have to make sure that when the rookies come in, that they feel really at home and they start trash talking as well. Just remember back when you guys started and you saw this trash talk, you just were dying to jump in there. So again, we got to do that for the incoming rookies, and we do have some good ones that are on the horizon. So we want to make sure that we help develop them as well. Although it's not as bad as when Rude Duty, Roddy Resicchini, and Great David, and like 9 other people left at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was Luther and by himself, but it happens. It's part of the deal, and business will pick up. I promise you guys that. So no worries there. So in addition, we had Black Belt Jones defeat Bullman to retain the national championship. So we're going to have another NIT starting this cycle to determine a new #1 contender for the national championship. Again, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with the Rising Star Championship. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that yet. And then the series with the Monroes and Bullman and Aries actually ended up in a tie. But since the Monroes left, the shot will go to Bullman and Aries. So they'll get the shot at Hostile Takeover and Aaron McFleece. In addition, we have some trash talk from Hulk Hollywood. Ooh, that's real interesting stuff. Joe Boring, who's fantastic. I love Joe Boring. They scream boring at him. We have a brief message from Dr. Aries. He claims that we didn't put him in the Bullwick tournament, so Matt, you don't have to go back and research that.
Who did?
Dr. Aries.
Was he leaving?
He's still here. Oh. He's fairly new. So we gotta make sure that he gets in. So trash talk from our good friend B.A. Fox. He's complaining that Luther doesn't give him any championship shots because he doesn't earn them. That's the bottom line. We have Winston Smith, who's tied to a locker room bench and he's spitting up blood.
Oh,
yeah. I blame Colonel Tom Talker.
Oh,
that's who I blame. What were you gonna do there? The good stuff. We have the Kingdom. They want to know if anyone's up for strip poker, so we'll see how that goes. So, I think Luther is in, and we might bring in Fatty the Butcher for that. And then we have some really solid trash talk from Adam Maddox. Again, these guys are looking good, and I want you guys, when you guys look at this, I want you guys to expand. Lord Drama's in the house. He's looking to challenge Fortune 500, and he wants to do a best of 7 series, with every match being a different stipulation match. You're going to be. He claims that Aaron McFleece will be his drama queen. So there you go. We have a nice promo from Winston Smith Jr. He still has that custom belt that he calls the NWL Nonconformist Championship. So we'll see how it goes there. He murdered John Campbell, by the way. So I heard he's dead and living, buried 6 feet under at this point.
Oh.
A really good, solid promo from Fortune 500. Talks about how his matches with Neo Dragon and with Johnny Vegas, and then he's dealing with someone called the Reaper. So look out for the Reaper coming. He's coming around. Yeah. Don't forget about the drunken camper, and solid trash talk by the drunken camper. So I'm really interested in what he's going to do with the drunken camper moving forward. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We have another great promo by Lockdown, the future world champion. His manager Gerald Horton claims, and we'll see how that goes. He's calling out Big Yellow, Johnny Vegas, and Pluto Blue. So I like that. And then we have the Mushroom Yellow. He gets beat up by Lockdown. So, and then Black Belt Jones chimes in, and he claims that his victory at Season Beatings, where he defeated Luther Alexander, proved once and for all that he is a qualified holder for the national championship. I think he just proved that again while defeating Bullman, and we'll see what's coming up next for Black Belt Jones.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff all around. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on the NWL?
Again, it's going to take some time to rebuild, but we got some good players in there still. So, Winston Smith Jr. and Black Belt Jones. And
Aaron McFleece, Adam Maddox, Ricky Kyle.
Get some players in there.
Got some names. Jerome Smitty.
Yep.
We're still in good shape. So, all right, fantastic. So we wanted to take a few minutes and talk about a couple of things. I think first we should talk about longevity in the IWA and how do you keep yourself, refreshed, and not put yourself in a position where you want to leave the game where you're not having fun anymore. So Matt, what are some of your tips on longevity? Because you've been playing the game for how long at this point?
Oh God, long enough. No, I think a lot of it has to do with having an idea and a goal for your wrestler. If you just go to a league and expect someone to jump on you and have this feud, like last year, I always liked Ghostly Shadow's work at NWL. Like just right from the get go, like this guy's got a good gimmick, kind of Undertaker, but face painted and evil. It was just really well done. So I wanted to work a angle with him. So we set up this angle and worked it throughout the year and kind of went back and forth. And it was never really like totally scripted. It was kind of like rough idea. And then we had the idea for the haunted mask that he gave him to kind of rejuvenate, Senior Lucha and the Sinister offer. And, so I had a whole entire arc to work with. I think it makes a difference. Don't just go in and say, I'm going to beat the hell out of this guy. Like, have it be pivotal. Like for IWL, for example, we were talking about our plans for the year. And we kind of laid out some possible plans for the wrestlers we have. So now it's a matter of, pursuing those avenues and, keeping yourself fresh. I think what happens a lot, people get like writer's block. Good way to get around writer's block is put your wrestler in a non-wrestling situation. So like have them in a car wash, have them at a supermarket, have them anywhere, a blood bank. What are they, I'm in a blood bank. Why are you in a blood bank? Well, I'm here to get used to seeing blood because when I finish you, you're going to look like this and just puncture a bag, like, oh, shit. Longevity in the game, a couple of things happen that can make it, if you don't do well for a long time, that can hurt. And some players are really just, disenfranchised because they don't do well at all.
Look at my 2016 was shit.
What's that?
My 2016 was shit. Like, it was like, I didn't do well. Like,
in the CWL, I had a strong with the Von Schnapps. But like in the IWL, Atari did his worst like ever. And I actually put that in my comments in the trash talk where he kind of outlined his plans to have a big year. And that can be a motivator. You want to have a good success. And I think what happens too is one of the reasons we put the history of the NWL scores out there is kind of like put a goal out there. People like, a carrot. Like, can you score more points than these guys scored? So just staying active in the game, I think, writing wise, competitive wise, set a goal for yourself, go after it, and, if you want to have a good feud with someone, like, call them out, do something to get their attention, and don't be afraid to network with them and say, hey, I'd like to work with you, because it sounds like, well, you're writing the whole feud. Well, no, you're not, but it makes a difference to the game if you have a better, idea of who you're working with.
The way I look at it, it might be slightly different than how other people look at it. I'm not competing against other players. So if Luther's taking on Great David, I'm not competing against Great David. I'm competing against the IWA because it's all about strat values. So the way I look at it is like I need to get the highest strategy possible. That's how I'm going to win. I'm not looking like, man, I hope Andy does bad. He gets a 488 and I blow him out because I'm not really going against him. Now, in terms of trash talk and angles and stuff, we have the IWAR Network page. You can definitely construct an angle, and then whoever wins the final match is the winner of the feud. But you can have fun running it that way instead of you're submitting something, you're kind of hoping someone responds, and it might take 3 or 4 cycles of no one responding, and then you move on to someone else and kind of hope that they respond. Another thing I want to do, especially for some of our newer players in the IWL, I want you to attempt to talk about someone who doesn't trash talk. See if we can bring them back into the fold. So you have like your Pastor Pains, you got your Crimson Grim. I think I'm going to start calling them out as well, see if I can get them back in the flow with things to kind of...
Monty Roach.
Monty Roach is another one. See if we can get them back interest because sometimes, like, if someone's not calling you out, then you have nothing to say. You have nothing to trash talk. Well, let's help some of these guys out. That maybe not, it's a 50-50 shot they respond. They won't respond, but if you just mention them, maybe it'll spark something and we'll get something going with someone who hasn't trash talked in quite a while. But for me, it's about staying creative. It's like I have so much stuff to do when it comes to like post to post and my NWL stuff that creatively it can be draining. But for me, it's like I'm accountable to the players on the IWAR network, and I try to put out the best product possible. And make it fun, and I look at things kind of differently, and try to put the covers together to make it look really cool and stuff like that. But I think if I didn't have that, if I wasn't a commissioner currently, I don't know if I'd be playing the game still, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Because it keeps me vested into what I'm doing, and it makes me puts me in a position where I have to read everyone's trash talk, because not for nothing, what a lot of people do when they read the trash talk, they look for their names. So they'll scan through, and they don't see their names, they'll just move on. So I just suggest to everyone, read everyone's trash talk, because it might spark an idea. You may want to go after someone. It's like, oh, I don't like talking shit or whatever. And the biggest thing is, like, I watch wrestling constantly, so I get ideas that way. So it's about keeping fresh, making sure that you manage your time, that it's not taking too much of your time, that you're like, oh, I want to dedicate an hour to this, and kind of knock it all in one shot. Don't be like me, who is constantly writing stuff at 8 o'clock in the morning the day of the deadline and emailing it off to Kim, because that's going to burn you out and hurt you. But just take an hour. It's like, oh, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write 3 paragraphs of TT, do my match, send it in, and you're good to go. And then stay active on the IWAR network, because I think if you're on the IWAR network, you're more likely to stay active with the game. I think it helps, because you're interacting with your buddies, and you're making new friends, and you're celebrating when someone does well, and that kind of stuff, and you're seeing what other people are doing. So I think that's a big key to the longevity in the game. But I understand it's going to happen to me at some point too. That I was like, I'm done. I did everything I wanted to do, told every story that I wanted to do, and I'll stop playing, and I'll be like everyone else. I'll stop playing and then come back in 5 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can talk about like a player who's just announced he's going to retire.
Yeah.
Rob Harrington, who ran Rude Duty, Rowdy Restaghini, and Harry Hoodstar. And, it's funny, we both kind of talked about how we kind of saw this coming.
Yeah.
Because he hadn't been quite as active, and, he kind of finished the program with Luther Alexander, and then just, hadn't really jumped to the next feud yet. Which is, I do think, an important thing too. Don't be afraid to like set up your next big feud while you're still finishing one.
Or be like me and feud with 9 people at the same time.
Right.
You got like, for me, it's about casting the wide net. So I'm going to talk about the end games. I'll talk about El Barbaro. I'll make fun of Senior Lucha, and then I go to IWL. I'll say something about Scotty Flash, Empire Chaos, Koenig and David, and just kind of get it going, and then. That's why if you look at the IWL trash talk, well, a lot of it talk about Revolution Extreme, because they're just talking shit constantly about numerous people. So I think, again, people like the interaction portion of it, and if you're feeling frustrated or you're feeling you have writer's block, reach out to me, reach out to Matt. We can help you with that. We can help you come up with ideas and kind of fill out your character if you feel like your character wants to move in a different direction and do something else. I do have guys who constantly message me stuff and ask for my opinions and my input all the time. So don't feel that you can't, because we're always here to listen, and we'll definitely help you out. Although I think winning is the cure all for everything. So you're not going to be leaving if you won like 3 league championships in a row. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I've seen some players that completely tie their longevity to their success.
Yeah.
We always get surprised when players just out of the blue retire.
Right.
Especially when we're building angles around them. That really, frustrates us as writers, because you're like, oh, man. But, a heads up, because you can always take time off, which brings up one of the things we want to talk about tonight, which is the IWA Graveyard.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, a non-advertised IWA function. And what the IWA Graveyard is, it is essentially a way to put your wrestler in carbonite freezing and take time off. And then if you decide to come back, you just reactivate them, and they have the same amount of wins, money, and stars, and you bring them right back. This service costs $2 per wrestler. So if you had a few wrestlers, you could do it for $6. One wrestler for $2. So with Rob, I sent him an email back when he told Andy and I about him retiring. I said, hey, if you decide not to retire all 3 of your guys, you keep one of them around. So if 3-4 years down the line, you're like, hey, I want to try the added weight again, or just have some free time, I want to try the added weight again. You can bring your wrestler back and get right in there, and you've got all those wins you earned. You've got all those stars.
It's not for nothing. If you retire your guys and you have to start back at 0 again, you may not want to come back because it might be kind of rough.
Yeah.
Starting from 0 again, especially if you have a lot of wins. So yeah. Anything else we want to talk about IWAR wide stuff?
Well, Tag Team Derby is down to 2 teams, and the finalists are Piper, the Monroes, the IWL.
Nice.
And from the BRL, Ghostly Shadows and Saskatchewan Sasquatch. Good on them. So hopefully they'll pull it off. I'm kind of rooting for the Sasquatch and Shadows. They've been kind of in a rut, so be nice to see them do something snazzy. That's an IWAR-wide thing. Do you want to talk about the year-end awards or save it for a special issue?
We can probably do another one for year-end.
And we'll just talk about the LWL 365, which is a new podcast which covers the LWL. They just did their debut edition. You can go to the LWL page and listen to it right now, or after us, I guess. And it kind of covers their latest pay-per-view and talks about the action. It was a good 30 minutes. So
yeah, time well spent. Congratulate these gentlemen for putting up the extra work for doing this podcast. Again, it's another reason to join that league. This is another reason. They got really in-depth, probably more in-depth than we do. I thought it was really great. I'm excited to see where they go moving forward. I like it. It's good stuff. Someone asked me a question. I never get a chance to ask you. We have these 6-man matches, these interleague 6-man matches. What are they for?
Which ones?
The challenge matches?
I'm not ready. I'm not sending him in.
You're not sending... you didn't send in... Because I didn't send in them either.
The only matches I sent in for...
you didn't send in Jimmy Electric, Prince Ton, and Grant Saposa versus Mark Malice, Johnny Vegas, and Hulk Hollywood?
Yeah, no, that I think was either Vegas or it was the Fabulous Freebirds.
How's that even possible?
8.21 gigawatts.
Yeah. Whatever. Okay. Boo to you, sir. Boo. All right, guys, so we're officially out of time. So for Matt Riley, I'm Alex G.